Being single has made me richer, and here's how. It's like having a financial reset button. You end up only spending money on what you want and what matters, and my bank balance is actually thanking me for it. And so being single isn't sad, it's financially freeing.
The hardest part about being single is 100% being able to afford it. It's expensive to be alive, it's expensive to be healthy, it's expensive to live alone, and it's expensive to be a woman. But when you hear those things, I want you to recognize what's your automatic reaction to them. Because for the longest time, mine was, I wish I had a boyfriend to split the bills with. Or I wish I had a boyfriend who paid the bills like a man. And when I sat with that and I pulled back the layers that were there, it exposed the fact that I was taught, it's a learned behavior, it's a learned thought pattern, learned belief, whatever you want to call it. I was taught that in order to improve my financial situation, I had to get a man. I wasn't taught in order to improve my financial situation, I need to improve my skills and therefore market myself in that way and advocate for myself. Now, consciously, I do those things. I have learned to do that, but the deep-rooted childhood shit that I've carried for so long was just like, oh, you have a problem? A man will fix it for you because you're just a girl and you need princess treatment. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but that is designed to keep you as an idiot, respectfully, as a woman. And there's nothing wrong with having help from a good man, a husband, a boyfriend, a dad, a uncle, whoever. There's nothing wrong with accepting help from them. It's hard for me as a independent, maybe hyper independent woman to ever really fully justify or get behind a woman fully relying on a man, because the hand that can feed you is the hand that can starve you too. And that terrifies me. And it's not to say that all men are bad and financially manipulative, but wouldn't it just be better to be financially secure in your own way? Since now in our world, we are in a position to do that as women. It's not easy, but we can do it. Whereas 50 years ago, they couldn't even get a credit card without a male cosigner. In the 70s, it was literally 50 years ago. So all of this to say, when you think about what your financial solution might be, I hope that you, instead of projecting into needing something outside of yourself, I hope you look in the mirror and be like, what am I good at and how can I market that and sell it to somebody else in a way that feels ethical and good and enjoyable and fulfilling to me? Because you don't also have to go sell your soul. You can do something that feels good for you. And I know that's very rah, blah, 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 but it is the truth. And I'll end with this. Something that I have always wanted or told myself I wanted was to be a DINK, a dual income, no kid household. Because to me, that provides such a level of luxury and luxury. However, my initial thought was like, well, I'm single, so I can't do that, obviously. Hey, let me hold your hand when I say this. You can be a single DINK. Right now, I have 4 sources of income. I'm not saying that's easy. I'm not saying it's sustainable. I'm not saying it's doable. In this season of life, I am choosing that because I want the steadiness or the flexibility of multiple sources of income to not corner myself into one reliance on a business. And I also want to be able to gather funds to be a DINK by myself. Like, you can be a single DINK. And I hope that I'm motivating you to do that, as well as deleting Hinge. Because if you're spending 10 hours a week, which is the average for millennials on Hinge, you could dedicate those 10 hours, hey, even 5 hours, to gathering money in a different way so that you feel sustained and secure in yourself. Because money can't buy happiness, but $80K a year is the bare minimum to feel like safe right now. And that's truly the bare minimum. So I hope this is something that can help you shift those patterns. And I'll also end with this. I've been listening to Financial Feminist on Spotify. You can also obviously buy the book. And it's been really helping me unwire all this bullshit.
What if being single isn't your financial disadvantage, but actually your opportunity? When there's only one income, the pressure is real, but so is the freedom. You get to decide where your money goes, what you save for, and what kind of future you're building without waiting for someone else to rescue the budget.
I'm a divorce lawyer. Excuse the fit because I'm headed to the gym. But this commenter makes a really good point. I just posted a video about how one of the best parts of being a single person is being able to use, spend, and save your money however the heck you want. You can go ahead and spend on starting a new business. That business can take off or it can fail, but whatever it is, it's only affecting you. You can become a super saver and start saving more than half of your income and start living this crazy life where you're only eating ramen and you're trying to save up hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can do that because you are single and you're only affecting yourself. It's one of my favorite parts of being single. So one of the commenters said, see, I needed to hear this because I feel like a second income from a man would really help me right now. And honestly, I'm so glad she commented this. Like, she's saying the quiet part out loud. What a lot of people learn from either, tradition or from social media is that partnering up with someone can help you to increase your income. And a lot of times this concept is coming from the idea that maybe your partner can give you some money, can supplement you somehow, send you a couple $100s every now and then, get your nails done, get your hair done, or, other things like that. Now, I think that there are a few ways to think about this. I think that if you are planning to get married, then two incomes working together can actually be very helpful when making some long-term investment decisions, like putting money in on a home, creating investment accounts together. Two incomes can really help those things like really compound over time. I know a lot of people who enjoy soft life content maybe don't love the idea of having to bring home an active income. I'm not saying that you need to do that, but I'm saying that two active incomes and two people who are agreeable with one another about how to make and how to spend and how to save money can be awesome. However, there are other relationships where people more think, okay, well, I'll get a girlfriend or I'll get a boyfriend and hopefully that person will contribute to me financially. So one of my issues with those types of relationships and how they often play out, not always, but how they often play out, is that the person who is receiving the money from the higher earner often becomes sort of restricted in a way to doing things that higher earning person wants them to do because they're receiving money from the person. So basically, that whole thing that we're seeing about the soft life, make sure that your hair is pretty and make sure that you're speaking softly and make sure that you always have a witty comeback and that you're so entertaining and make sure that you stay skinny and make sure that you do this and make sure that you do that. At the end of the day, having a second job sometimes is less demanding than all that. And I'm very serious. If you are single and you're by yourself, you have the ability to, if you want to, work 1, 2, 3 jobs. And that could be less exhausting than dealing with a person to where you always have to be on your A game to maybe get some extra spending money from them. And, I'm saying this as someone who put myself through law school. I will be honest with you, law school is very hard. Being a lawyer is not an easy profession. I would still rather do this than my income being based on somebody else, a romantic partner, just liking me. Because the like can switch off. What cannot switch off is my law degree and my license and my ability to earn myself. That doesn't just switch off like a faucet. That may mean changing jobs. That may mean one day starting my own firm. That may take on different forms, but it's not a faucet that can turn on and turn off just by the whims of someone else. And so, like I said, I'm really glad that you made this comment. I feel like it's a super vulnerable comment. I think that if you are single and you do want to make some big financial differences in your life, use the time that you're not spending on somebody else and that you don't have a huge time commitment to somebody else. Use this time to, double up on those jobs and save everything you want to save. Or use this time to make some fun, irresponsible purchases, travel, buy the purse, all of these things. Use this single time right now to do all of that because it just becomes more complicated when you're in the relationship.
And here's the part people don't talk about enough. Depending on a partner for financial security can feel comforting, but building your own earning power gives you something deeper: options. A better skill, a second income stream, smarter saving, or even a little side hustle can become your safety net. Because honestly, dating shouldn't feel like a financial strategy meeting.
I don't know why I'm so nervous to do this, but going from 2 incomes down to 1 was honestly one of the most scariest things about starting my new life post-divorce. Because not much changed about the bills and expenses that came through. There was just only me contributing. And truthfully, I was terrified. I used to think, can I really afford this? But somewhere along my journey, that fear turned into, wait, I actually can do this. And I don't need anybody else. I can do it. And while finances used to be a huge stressor of mine, despite at one point my household making almost $500,000 a year, I still never felt comfortable. Now I feel empowered. I'm excited. So I thought I'd show you guys what my actual income and budget looks like as a single income now that I'm on my own. I'm starting with the big buckets because there are a lot of line items. I didn't know if you guys would actually be interested in that or not. If you do want me to dive a little bit deeper, let me know and we can do that in another video. I don't know why I'm so nervous to do this, but I honestly am. Here are my bills. Obviously, some of these aren't actually monthly, but I'm saving up for those things so that when those bills do come due, I already have the cash. I'm not stressed about the $400 trash bill because your girl has been accruing for that all year. I'm actually pretty proud of my subscriptions because we cut those way down. I'm thinking about canceling Prime, but let me know your thoughts there. The essentials are the things that I kind of have some wiggle room with. I really don't know how much I'll be spending on groceries or gas, but those are things where push comes to shove, I can make decisions and kind of change my habits and patterns to adjust those things. Quality of life. These are the things that we really don't need, but it enhances our life. It is the romanticizing of our lives and making sure that we still have fun. And before I show you future me, I like to bucket things out of my paycheck so that I don't even have to funnel them places. These are things that I'm saving up for me. And this one's a little hard because I don't know what I'm saving up for. But right now, it's me making sure that I am still having fun and doing things that I like to do, like traveling. So there will be more of that. And that's it. If you were playing along and had your calculator out, you already know what my total is. But for the rest of you baddies, that is my monthly total income. Let me know. What would you change? What would you do differently? And where do you think that I might be spending too much money?
Technically, the way I see it, I'm saving money because I'm no longer in a relationship. I'm single. So I would have been spending so much money during Christmas on someone else. But now, during the Black Friday sale, I'm buying stuff for myself to save money for my future self because everything is now discounted. So technically, girl math, I'm actually saving money. I'm better off now buying stuff now because I'm not spending money at Christmas for anyone else. Boy, have I spent money. Boy, have I spent money. Life is great when you're single. When you're no longer in a relationship, life is great. Because all I can think about is myself. Me. That's all that matters, yeah? I'm having a time, having a blast, spending money on yourself. Oh, but to be fair,
it's expensive to be single. And nobody really talks about that. So a year and a half ago, I ended up moving in with my cousin. We made a strategic decision to move in together. And I looked at her and I was like, you know what? You single, I'm single. Why don't we move in together? And what we ended up doing is creating a double income, no kid, think household. And I remember I ended up writing an article about this and somebody was like, I never thought about it. I always thought about dinks as married people who make dinks. I made a dink with my cousin, right? Double income, no kid household. Now, here's the thing. Me and my cousin can both afford to live on our own. But by moving in together, what we did is we combined our finances and were able to put back so much money by moving in together. But outside of that, it's very expensive to be single. At the end of the day, married people have 2 incomes coming into that household. So if one person during this recession that is coming up loses that job, there is some other person to fall back on. Me as a single woman, if I lose that job, there is no second income. But for me, I always want to ensure I have multiple streams of revenue, multiple streams of top line coming in, because as a single woman, I want to ensure I am thinking about my long-term success. And that's the reality of it's expensive to be single.
No man or child or children will come between me and my money and I. Okay, I made that decision a long time ago. And in many ways, that decision was made for me because I didn't grow up with a father. I didn't have a father that financially provided for me. He taught me one of the greatest lessons I believe I've ever had to learn as a human being that happens to be a woman in a world where women are indeed oppressed. He taught me that money does not come from men. It does not come through men. And so I always thank him up here. He taught me one of the greatest lessons that women need to understand, accept, and know. And when you're a single woman, you need to know that this is true. Money does not come from or through men. I do not allow anyone to get between me and my money. When I tell you the number of times men have asked me for money, in my younger days where I experimented with dating, it came up a lot. And it isn't because I was talking about money. It isn't because I showed them that I had money, that it would come up and they may ask me for money. And one thing about me is I navigated those situations, but what I would say is I always knew you will never come between me and my money. The minute they start telling me, you work a lot, you're always focused on work, you're very materialistic, you're money related, I know what we're dealing with here. Immediately, I know what we're dealing with here. Because nothing will come between me and my money. And the reason for this, amongst many reasons, but one of the reasons is the fact that I know money means options, freedom, choice, leverage, and power. And I know to be an unpunishable woman, you need to be well-resourced. Okay? Because when you have your own money, nobody can punish you. You want to move left and I want to move right, we're good to go. I don't have to make compromises I don't want to make. I don't have to make concessions. I get to have what I want all of the time, always. That's my personal thing. I always get what I want. Now, in order to always get what you want, you do need to be resourced. You always need to have options. You need to have leverage. You need to have power. And when I talk about power, people get very, nervous because they are thinking about power in the context of misusing power and exploiting other people. You don't even need to be going down those roads. All of us have a degree of internal power that is our right to wield as we see fit, as long as it's not causing harm to others. And so therefore, I do not shy away from having money, and I do not allow men who suddenly pop up and say that they're attracted to you, they want marriage, they want some of your time and energy. No man becomes between me and my money. Because I know out of the two, the truth of the matter is, beyond trusting myself, I can trust money. Yeah, because money represents the energy of options, leverage, power, and freedom. You can't trust men. Now, when I say this, people get very upset. I'm not hating on men. I'm not talking in a derogatory way about men. What I'm saying is that men are human beings who are also flawed and imperfect. And actually their existence quite often, particularly in a romantic context, is to consume you and distract you. That's what they do. Ask any woman who is with a man. He takes up time, energy, and resource. And even if she's happy to give that time, energy, and resource, it is still having to be allocated his way. I do not let any man come in between me and my money, because ultimately, I know that I can trust myself, that I matter. I always need to have my leverage, my options, my power. That's it.
All right, I wanted to come on here and talk about how I'm single and I don't really have any extra money because I am single. So all of the income and everything is just me, myself, and I. And how in some ways that feels really freeing because I have complete financial responsibility on myself. And I feel like I really enjoy that freedom. But it also comes with the downside of I can't take certain risks. I can't kind of plan these bigger long-term things because I just know what my income is going to be. And I am not a career person. I don't want to job hop to make more money at different companies. I really enjoy my company and my job and my coworkers. So I don't feel this need to make changes, but I want my lifestyle to be different, which is the whole reason why I started posting on TikTok to begin with. Was, long story short, I used to be a nurse. I went to grad school for nursing. Then I realized I didn't want to do bedside nursing anymore. So I made this digital document talking about my transition from bedside nursing to a non-bedside healthcare adjacent field, which is what I currently work in. And I needed to promote it in some way, so that's how TikTok came into my life. But I feel like I'm at this crossroads still where I'm like, I don't really know what I want to do. I feel like I want it to be something that I can monetize and I can build a community. I can find a way to kind of supplement that income that I have in ways that other people in relationships are able to kind of have the stability of two incomes. yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if this is even interesting to people, if you like talking about finances, if it's something that's like taboo, like let's not talk about it, but it's like always lingering and right there. But I don't know. I feel like I'm still trying to find what I want out of life and how I can get there. And I feel like in a lot of ways it seems to always come from money. And as horrible as that is, like money is important. I have a great lifestyle. I'm not saying I don't. It's just it's nice to be able to dream, because right now I'm like, my life will have to look like this for the rest of my life if I don't change anything. And that's when I get a little bit panicky of like, okay, I can't just be like this forever. So yeah, if you also somebody that has kind of worked in social media, has liked social media, and you're trying to figure out how to monetize it, is there a way that doesn't feel gimmicky? Because I feel like a lot of the times I really struggle with feeling like I'm pushing something on my audience. And I used to do TikTok lives all the time, and I feel like that also felt a little gimmicky, and it just felt like asking for money, and I didn't want to do that. So I want to be authentic. I want to still be me, but I want to make money doing it. So let me know if you have any ideas for me.
Single, child-free women with no or very little debt. What are we doing with our privilege? So I'm 38, single and child-free, and I'm a lawyer by profession. And I moved to the United States from South Africa in 2019 to come here to do my master's in law at Cornell. I got a scholarship, so my debt is like very low, like less than $10,000. And I've been working in the US between New York and DC since 2021, and I probably should have better savings. And I've really been thinking that I'm in this position where I don't have a lot of debt. Like literally my credit card, the amount of credit that I have, my credit limit is probably like so low, like even probably like college or high school kids have a higher credit limit than I do, but that's because I have a very healthy fear of debt. So now I'm here sitting in a position where like I'm okay. I could be better, honestly, but we could all be better. I'm trying to, make better decisions going forward. Or said, how are we using our privilege as women that are single, child-free, and if you have, a decent income and you don't have a lot of bills, you don't have big debt. I think the biggest debt that I have is my apartment that I bought in Joburg last year, and I have moments where I like ask my friends, is it too soon to sell it? Can I sell it now? They're like, no, bitch, hang in there. And to be honest, I'm yet to see how this becomes passive income, because the only thing that's happening is money coming out of my pocket. So I'm yet to see the dream of passive income. And I'm trying to approach this with the lens of asking myself that in a year from now, if nothing in my life changes, I mean, at least hopefully I'll have better skills in terms of learning how to do my own hair a year from now. But if nothing changes a year from now, how would I feel? Would I be happy with where my life is if absolutely nothing changes? And I mean, assuming that we will still have a universe and an earth to reside in, given the current global events and the responses that I am getting from myself, because I'm really the only person that can answer that question, are not quite satisfactory to me. That if nothing changes, I would still be happy. Like I am seeking, career change. I'm seeking career progression. How can I leverage my position for just like more income? And all the things I'm trying to optimize for are obviously more money, because let it be known, I like money, but also more freedom in terms of just like, how I get to spend my time, and more time with, again, kind of like going back to how I spend my time, it's just like, more time with my loved one, and just like greater visibility and more influence. So those are really the things on my mind. And so I'd love to hear from other girlies in a similar position, just like, what are you doing to optimize your income, to optimize your privilege right now, and what are some things that I need to be thinking about, especially financially, because I am so fortunate to have like a group of older girlies in my life. A lot of them have been turning 50, so it's really amazing to see that trajectory. Most of them are single, unmarried, very well educated, great jobs. They all have property. They all have like the types of things that I aspire towards, and also open to be an example to some of the younger girlies. If you're younger than me, please, you need to learn how to do your own hair. So she's not 38 and you don't know how to use a straightener, because that, my dear, is tragic. So I want to hear from you in the comments. Thank you.
The real goal isn't to prove you don't need anyone. It's to make sure you can stand on your own if you ever need to. Love can add to your life, but your financial foundation should belong to you. Build the skills, grow the income, protect the savings, and give yourself choices. Because money isn't everything, but having options can change everything.